And we are live. What's up, Stu?
Hello, Jim.
How are you?
I'm good. Had a good Father's Day weekend. I hope you did.
I had an excellent Father's Day weekend. I spent all day Sunday fishing with my son-in-law and his friend and my grandkids. And I caught stuff, but I didn't catch what I wanted to catch. It was like this giant metaphor for advertising and writing ads and doing all this stuff. So, but I caught 3 stingrays and a turtle.
Oh, dang.
And the interesting thing is that it was a terrapin. It was a really old one. So he had live barnacles on his back and on his head. So yeah, we got the hook out of him though. He was fine. Then he was mad. He was like, "Let me go. Do not take my picture. Let me go." But we took his picture anyway. So it was good. The turtle is fine, Peter. John and Matt were catching these giant sea bass. They're called drum.
Oh yeah.
And they caught speckled trout. I walked about a half a mile in the water, cast my line about 200 times, didn't get even a nibble. And Matt's out there. He cast his line about 200 times. He got 3 bites, 2 of which were these really big speckled trout. So that's what caused me to do my video yesterday of you can't buy a trophy. You can buy all the stuff. You can it's kind of like you can buy all the Under Armour. You can buy all the fancy shoes. You can buy the Camelback and the hydration stuff. But at some point, you have to go put in the miles and get the experience. Anyway, it was a very good Father's Day. I enjoyed it. And I didn't have anybody I didn't know show up and knock on the door and say,
"Are you my dad?"
So it's a good Father's Day.
Yeah, it's a good Father's Day. You're right.
So, anyway. So what are we doing today? I got something.
Something. Go ahead. What do you got?
Well,
I have something too, but you might have something better.
So, I talk a lot about we eat our own cooking here at the Jim and Stu Show. What's up, Leslie? What's up, VJ? And so, I'm the number 1 power user of Funnel Scripts and the Jim Edwards Method Premium and stuff. So, as you all know, and if you don't know, you've been living under a rock. Seriously, you've been under a rock. We launched in the last month the 7-day ebook version 3.0. Just did the 7-day challenge. That went really well. People are getting their books done. And so we're starting to do our advertising now. We're going to really start trying to scale up everything because we got the funnel dialed in and whatnot. And so one of the things we're going to be doing is going after professional people with the idea of, hey, if you really want to differentiate yourself in the marketplace, you should write a book. It has nothing to do with getting, making money on Amazon or making money selling books. It's all about the angle is all about basically, if you had a book, you would be better than all the other realtors in town or the mortgage brokers or the whatever. That would be definitely something that would set you apart. So one of the things
makes a great business card.
Exactly. I call it the $29 business card.
There you go.
So the thing is, the current sales letter that we have isn't going to work for that audience because it's all about, how to write and publish your own outrageously profitable ebook in as little as 7 days, even if you can't write, can't type, and failed high school English class. That's not necessarily the hook for those people, especially if we're doing the hook of, hey, you can, and I record a bunch of videos and other stuff. And the hook is basically, if you're this, and we've got about 10 different markets we're going after. If you're this and you're struggling to get more clients, here's something you should think about, and that is, what if you had a book? So and I held up a bunch of people's books, here's my friend that did it in real estate. I did in real estate. My friend that did investing in dog training and restaurant marketing and in endometriosis treatment and how they used each of their books. So one of the things that I got to do is to redo really the top half of that sales letter funnel. And so what I'm going to lead with is my story of how I used, how I took 4 years to write my book. It took forever. And then I got turned down by a bunch of, turned mine by like 40 different publishers. And then I decided to publish it myself and use it as a business building tool, which was the whole reason why I wanted to write it in the first place. So I actually just bypassed all the stuff. And then I told the story of how I did it. I took 51 listings my first full year as a real estate agent. Then, I used it as the basis of a funnel with a bunch of services and stuff in it. And then I realized that, and then I tell the story of how I teamed up with Joe Vitale. We created the first version of the 7-day ebook. And over the last 20 years, I've helped tens of thousands of people to do this. And I weaved in a little kind of a cool little hook. The hook at the beginning of the story is, I decided to write my book to impress a girl. And at the end of the story, I say, by the way, that was 27 years later. I'm married to that girl and she still thinks I'm smart. And so it was kind of a cool little hook to bring it around. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the story of people who have used my methods to get their books done. So I'm going to tell, obviously you'll be in there, hold up. Stu got his book, became a bestseller, used it to build his coaching fitness business. I'll show my buddy Suzanne. She used hers and she got a TV series from it. So I'll show up like 3 or 4 different people. And then pretty much the rest of the sales letter will pick up from where it, from there, telling what's in the program and all that stuff. So, so I wanted to show you guys the script that I used, over inside of Funnel Scripts. And then I just wanted to point something out, that the big thing with all of these scripts is that the purpose of the script is to help you to get that first draft done. So I use the Epiphany Bridge script inside of the Expert Secret scripts. Here's my project. And this took me about 40 minutes to do. And then I output it as a docx file. And then I probably spent another hour to hour and a half editing it. And that might seem like a lot, but if you look at that, 3 hours total, 2.5 hours to write a 3-page story is actually pretty dang quick. And so, I probably rewrote about 45% of this. But the thing is, that's just one of the powerful things that you can do with these scripts and the wizards and stuff, is it gets you from thought to first draft really, really fast. So you can do that edit. And then what I did was I put it up, and I haven't even really looked. I put it up in the Sales Copywriting and Content Marketing Hacks group, and I asked for feedback, which is always potentially humbling. And I have not looked at the feedback. And I did this. I did this meme I put in. Yo, dog, I need some feedback. So that's something just to grab people's attention, just whatnot. So I put the whole thing in there, and my wife liked it. Maybe she gave me the heart. So that's a good thought. Pete, Jesse. I love you, Sarah. Maybe it's because I've heard the story before, but I thought it was a bit long and didn't read all the way to the end. Just saying. Powerful story, though, so I wouldn't take too much notice of me. Anyway, so that was how I used a wizard in the last 24 hours in a real live situation in my business.
Which wizard was that?
That was the Epiphany Bridge script inside of Funnel Scripts.
Got it.
So, and the cool thing is that you can not only output, as text and DOCX, but you could also output it as PPTX. And so you could actually make this part of a webinar presentation or even use it as the whole presentation yourself.
Well, it's funny that you did this, because what I was going to say for our topic for the Jim and Stu show today was a wizard walkthrough, kind of a desktop advertisement wizard. And this came from a question within the Sales Copywriting Content Marketing Hacks Facebook group. And he's just saying, hey, I'm wondering how to use the wizards to make compelling sales copy that will help you sell.
Right. So the number one thing I know you've heard this, hook, story, offer. Hook is your headline. It's a question that pulls people in. It's the thing that gets people to pay attention. And then the story could be everything from what we generate with the like the stealth close wizard, which is one of my favorites, or the hidden persuasion wizard tells a great story. The what I do in one sentence wizard tells a great story in one sentence. It's whatever the meat is, the who, what, where, when, why, and how kind of thing. And then the offer is, okay, now that I've gotten you with the hook, now that I've told you the story, what do I want you to do? So in an ad, the offer could be click here for X, or click here to find out more, or learn more, or buy now. You don't really do buy now in an ad, but it could be just as short as a couple of words. Or in a sales letter, the offer could be a giant offer stack of all the goodies that you get. But so the scripts that you want to pay a special attention to are the ones that help you create a great hook, the ones that help you tell a great story, and the ones that help you make a great offer. Just pretty much all of them. Were you sharpening your knife in the background or something?
What do you mean? You see a knife back there?
No, I was hearing some kind of metallic noise or something. I didn't know if somebody was sneaking up on you with some scissors or something.
I don't think so. I think someone just sneezed or something.
Or maybe they're sneaking up on me. I got to be careful because, Stu, I got a secret compartment here behind me.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, that's not good. That's like a dark tunnel back there, dark hallway, and strange noises. That's not good. Anyway.
That's a crazy office background you have there.
It's an awesome. That's like my real office as opposed to my fake office.
I love it.
So anyway, that when people don't, I don't know if people believe me or not when I say I'm the number one user of all things script, and Stu's like the number two user of all things. See, I'm number one and you're number two, Stu.
Yay. That's pretty cool. I love them. I use them all the time.
So I got
and I feel like I could use them more.
Yeah,
I wish I could use them more. Right? I just I need to get on that again and do that. I need to do this. I got a laundry list of things I could use the wizard for, and I just got to pull the trigger on getting them all done.
So let me ask you a question. And I want to get everybody's opinion on this, especially though Stu, everybody who uses the wizards and stuff. Hey, Tony. Hey, Pete. He's working on making his book a bestseller. Hey, April. Leslie. So I'm going to share an idea with you. I've shared with you something that I'm working on that I want to get your opinion on. And I'm going to have to switch my screen here. So just give me 1 sec. I'm going to explain something to you. So I'm working on an idea, and the idea is this. So whenever we use any of the wizards and stuff, basically we use a wizard. We fill out the form, we submit the form, and then it gives us a cool output. And underneath that output is usually the shopping cart and the copy button, right? So it could be everything from a blob of text to a button to a bunch of bullets to just a headline, whatever. Now, the problem, it's not a problem, but the issue is at this point it outputs this stuff, and then you can output it as PPTX, you can output it as DOCX, you can output it as text. We can even output stuff as PDF, and we can output stuff as Excel, even though don't do a whole lot of that. So the problem, the issue, the I don't even know what I want to call it, but is when you have, let's say you're using ClickFunnels, or you're using some other builder, or you're using OptimizePress or WordPress, or you use Shopify or any of these other things. The thing is how do I get this to show up in my thing? So I've got my headline, I've got my bullets, I've got my blobs of text, I've got my call to action. How do I get it from here where it is over into this thing, whatever it is where I want to display it and use it? And sometimes it's, you say just copy and paste, but sometimes saying copy and paste is easier than said than done. It's still clunky. So we have the clip bin where if you hit the little shopping cart icon, you can end up with everything in a text file where it's got the little separators and stuff. But what if there was a way that we could create, get a different color. What if there was a way that we could create stuff and there was another button that you could click that would then put everything into this little plugin in your browser where it would save all that stuff under a project name. So let's say it was like, Stu's new book. It would save your button. It would save your bullets. It would save your text blobs or even your whole sales letter. And it would save your headline. And then all you had to do was inside of ClickFunnels or wherever you were building this thing, you just position your cursor right there and you whack a little button next to the snippet inside of your inside of this plugin, and it automatically would insert it in there. And you had the option to have it inserted with formatting or just plain text. So then what you could do would be to build everything, and it's kind of like the clip bin on steroids, but it's portable. Instead of it being just tied into a text file right there, it's like you could take your clip bin anywhere with you. So you could create ads and automatically just drop them into Facebook. You could create sales copy and automatically drop it into ClickFunnels or Shopify or whatever it is you were using. So you could literally go in and create everything, save it in a project, and then you could go dump it wherever you needed it, but still hang on to it so that when you were doing stuff in the future and you were like, hey, I could just reuse that thing from that other project, I could just dump it into the new spot. Do you think that's a cool idea? So it's basically if the clip bin and Evernote had a dumpster baby, that's what it would do. But it would organize everything. And this would be the other thing. It would work with ClickFunnels. I mean, it would work with funnel scripts. It would work with the Jim Edwards Method Premium. It would work with Traffic Secret scripts, Fill My Webinar scripts. All of that stuff would work with this same thing. So you could just load up and go nuts. What do you think? Is that a cool idea or no?
Yeah. Man, that's another easy button, Jim.
Okay.
And it just, very versatile. And you say it's formatted as you would prefer it?
It will be formatted in the following way. It would be like headlines would be like H1 tag.
There you go.
You'd have stuff with bold, italics, underline if you wanted it.
Man.
and then bullets, and that would be pretty much that would be pretty much it. Probably, I don't know if we could do some basic colors.
That's cool.
But once you start getting into that, then people are like, well, I don't want it to be red. I want it to be puce. So that's so Carlin says, so the wizard will do the copy and then you paste it from the portable clip bin. Yes, exactly. That's exactly the thought. Jay said that would be really cool. It'd also be nice if it kept content separated out by type, example, headlines, bullets, and call to action. That's actually exactly what I'm thinking. So within each project, you'll have your project, and then the project will be divided in the first round of how we design this thing. It's going to be divided up into headlines. We'll call them text blocks. Which would be big chunks, like think of big chunks of a sales letter, or like that story that I just showed you. That would be a block. Then we'll have bullets, and then we would have snippets. So snippets would be things like CTAs or just one sentence thingies. So it would organize those, hopefully. And what I'd like to do is have it so that they automatically get categorized within the project. That may be a future one. So Tony think that's a good idea too. Carlin says you'd have to be sure you clear the portable clip bin each time you use it, so you didn't forschluggle the output. Well, I think that's not going to be an issue, because we're actually going to let you save it in unlimited projects. Is going to be how it's organized. So you would just it's not going to overwrite anything. You would just add additional headlines, add additional blocks and other stuff. It could get a little clunky if you save, 50 headlines in one project. And then we'll have a way for you to delete stuff from within it. So, if you added a bunch of headlines and stuff, and then, choose the ones you like and finalize your project. So anyway, that's the idea that I'm working on.
I think that's a very smart evolution, Jim.
Thanks.
You are evolving.
Would you use that, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that tool free, and then we'll have a few free wizards that we promote to get people to use the tool, and then we'll advertise all the other stuff then when they start using the thing. And so I'm calling it, here's the name. You ready?
Dun, dun, dun.
Scriptcaster.io. Think about it, okay? Scriptcaster. Of course, it'll be included in the Jim Edwards Method Premium. You guys will get first access to it to play with it. But but that's how I can kind of help this go mainstream too.
Yeah.
Is just a few scripts that people can use, and then they're like, oh man, these are great. And I say, well, if you like that, hold my beer. And look at these. So anyway, do you guys like that name though? Scriptcaster.io. Because I couldn't get the .com. Scriptcaster.
What's IO mean? Is that like software usually?
I don't know.
Yeah.
AI means artificial intelligence. I don't know what IO means. Jay's already redesigned in the second version. I would have a setting area that lets us set our defaults for pasting. I think what I'm going to do is have a button where you can paste with or without formatting. Probably be the best, easiest way to do it. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, Scriptcaster.
I like it.
.io.
Very useful.
So I'm hoping that we'll have it done by the end of the summer.
I think that's
a couple months.
I think that's going to be as useful as the avatar enabled wizards.
Yeah, I think so.
It's going to take it to another level, like on the back end side. It's almost like the avatar for your, for your posts. It's just going to pop it right out there for you.
There you go. Cool. All right. So
Mm.
that was what I wanted to talk about. How about you,
That's
Stu?
about the same thing. I mean, I saw a question in there that I was just going to say, hey Jim, what's the wizard that you would use to make compelling sales copy? And you kind of showed that for us without me even asking you. So
I figured you out, Stu.
I was going to
know-
set you up. I was going to set you up with a softball pitch and let you take it home.
I appreciate
And,
that. I even had my little note card, my talking points ready. So thanks for the softball. Now I'm saving this. So because that was a good little explanation of what I want the thing to do. Right now it's vaporware, everybody, but I think we'll get it done. Okay. So you ready to do the podcast?
Yeah, real quick though. Last week, do you remember what we talked about last week? Because I cannot find what I sent you, because I've had a kind of a crazy week with these. I've done 4 live workouts.
Wow.
That have screwed up my my regular schedule. I got a 5th one on Wednesday, tomorrow, at the Naval Academy. So they've been a lot of fun, but I don't think I've uploaded yet last week's video and audio yet. So I haven't gotten that link from you to download it.
Susan sent it.
Okay.
She sent it Wednesday.
All right. I got to find it. So
That's
I'm just
okay.
wondering, this is 122.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah.
And I
I'm
upgraded
a week behind.
we reached a milestone with our podcast. We had to upgrade to the next level of Podomatic because we've done too many episodes for the storage that we have with them, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Susan will send you just ask Susan for the link
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. What did we talk about last week, everybody?
Did we do something? Because I have a
don't
new one. Here's what I wanted to do this week.
Did we do
Oh, you know,
quotes?
last week was podcasting. It's like, do we need a podcast? Fun, business. Yes. I got it. I have it all figured out now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank God.
We talked about podcasting, you know, just like. So anyway, here's something that kind of got me the idea of this week's topic from what we talked about last week. That's why I was a little confused. I was like, didn't we talk about this?
Okay.
All right, so this is 122.
Right.
And why don't we go ahead and say we're ready to start the podcast?
Oh, okay. Okay,
Make it
ready?
roll. Yes.
3, 2, 1.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Sales Copywriting and Content Marketing Hacks Podcast. I'm your special guest host, Mr. Pickles, along with Stu Smith. What's up, Stu?
Hey, Mr. Pickles.
You're gonna
How are
love
you?
the taste of juice in your mouth, Stu.
I like my pickle juice. I do. Nah, I really don't. It's not tasty.
There you go. So, what's on tap with the podcast today, Stu?
Well, last week we talked about podcasting of all things,
Uh-huh.
and you know, whether you're going to do it for fun, does you need it for your business? How is it going to enhance your business? All those things. And I got to thinking, do you remember, did you ever write a business plan for what you wanted to do with the Jim Edwards method?
No.
Yeah, you know what? I did when I first started. I think I pulled out my business plan from 2002,
Uh-huh.
right? And it looks nothing like what I had planned.
Yeah.
I mean, this was before Facebook. I think this was before I sold my first ebook.
Uh-huh.
You know, and then like 2 years later, 75% of my business is downloadable products. I mean, just completely looks nothing like my business plan. So
Right.
what I wanted to discuss today was, you know, you being flexible enough to see the trends in your business. Can you spot them? You know, are you able to turn your vision into a reality while at the same time watching business world evolve and technology evolve, are you able to keep up with that transition, that process of everything moving in a certain direction? Otherwise, you're not going to have a podcast. You're not going to sell downloadable products. You're not going to do whatever, be on social media. So how are you evolving? So here's the whole topic. Turning vision into reality. Can you spot trends of your business, online business in general? Are you ready? Are you going to be ready to make that move when something happens? So you have to be open-minded enough to learn. And can you plan to make it happen? So that's kind of the very broad topic.
Holy crap. What is this? Is this the first day of the semester and you're laying out the syllabus or something? And we're going to do this for the next, 18 weeks?
I had a vision, 20 years ago of what I wanted to do, and it looks nothing like what I'm doing now.
Yeah. And I think I have an answer for that.
Yes.
And I think that there were 3 words that came into my head as you were doing that. And I lost a couple of them. But it always comes back to, at least for me, was I always thought about, who am I going to serve? Who am I serving? And how can I serve them the best right now with what they need? So that was a lesson learned, though, from being on the mean streets of belly to belly, person to person, knocking on doors, sales and stuff, that I learned real fast that you better isolate who your best potential customer is and get real good at a message for them that is going to catch their attention, because you've only got about 10 seconds. And then as the market changes, how are you going to keep serving that group? How are you going to evolve? Because that's really the people that I see making it are the ones who are real focused on who they serve and how they fulfill a need or satisfy a desire for them. And then as things change, are you able to evolve in your offering? Very few people are doing the exact same thing they were doing 20 years ago. And that's kind of when I look back on my progression in the world of online business. I started out learning the fundamentals and then teaching them to real estate agents. I used to go into real estate offices and teach real estate agents how to send email, how to write emails that actually got customers to respond, and how to integrate basic online marketing with their business. And then, I published my book. I was selling my book. It took me 4 years to figure that out. And then I had other people saying, how are you doing that? And so then that kind of launched me on the ebook thing. And then we wanted to do video. And so I did a bunch of stuff on teach people how to do videos and CD-ROMs before everybody had, high-speed internet. And then we did downloadable MP3s. Then we did downloadable video. Then we did webinars, and we did membership sites, all these things that, as I evolved and my business evolved, there were 2 parts to my business: the stuff that I was doing, and then the stuff that I was teaching. And doing it and teaching it also, by the way, keeps you very authentic and grounded in what's going on. And then what I realized is, not everything that could be invented has been invented, as far as the big gap stuff. Like, it was all based around mechanics. What I was doing, how do I get a book written and up and for sale as a PDF? How do I do video? How do I do audio? How do I do webinars? How do I do membership sites? Now all that stuff is push button simple. Yes. But along the way, I was always teaching people, hey, once you do this, here's how to sell it. So then I just kind of settled into this niche of teaching people how to sell, which I was doing all along. but then it really kind of came to fruition with Copywriting Secrets and funnel scripts and stuff about 6 years ago. Now, I can't believe it's been 6 years.
Well, you said something very important, because originally I was thinking, man, my business plan looks nothing the way it does. But you know what hasn't changed? Who I am serving.
Mm-hmm.
That has not changed. Now what has evolved is me serving them better,
mm-hmm.
more efficiently,
mm-hmm.
and even evolving a little bit into an older genre versus the younger kid who's preparing to serve in the tactical professions. But yes, that has not changed. The term tactical fitness wasn't even invented whenever I was starting out. At first I was calling it military, law enforcement, and firefighter fitness. It didn't quite roll off the tongue. But now we got tactical fitness.
You literally wrote the book on it.
I wrote the book on tactical fitness. So no, originally when I had first started, you're right. None of these were push button easy. It was hard. I mean, you had to figure out, okay, how am I going to get this video up here? I mean, how's people going to download a megabyte file, on dial up?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are a lot of little things that, I think as long as you just kept your mind open and you saw the advancements in the technology that you were using to serve your customers, you were able to make it better every year.
Right.
And it was literally better every year. I mean, there's hardly anything I've done consistently, each year without adding something new to it or finding a way to make it better or easier, that took less time, even for twice the amount of work or whatever. So I think that's kind of my thing that I wanted to discuss, the most was just, you really do have to be open-minded enough to learn all the new things that are available. Because, the one thing that you're not doing is going to change your life, in some manner.
Well, and that's the thing, as far as you said something, a lot of the stuff that you do now, you couldn't have done 20 years ago, and you couldn't have even known it was coming. In the last week, you say you've done 4 live streams for midshipmen or for potential midshipmen all over the country. To do a simulcast like that 20 years ago, you needed a satellite truck outside your front door, and now we're doing it you can do it for free through YouTube.
Yes,
so
great.
A lot of the things that we do now, we couldn't have done then, or couldn't even known that we could have done back then. The one thing I will say, though, is back in 2004, 2005, I said at some point, we will be doing infomercials for our products from our websites. I don't know how long it's going to take, but at some point we will be selling more through video than we will through text.
Nice.
We will be able to do that, and I can document that. That was some good prognostication.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because I probably about that same time started doing more video, teaching, some of the techniques that required seeing the movement versus me writing about the movement.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that it's so important to look at every time we do something, it always comes back to who's your avatar? Who is the person that you're serving? What are their problems? What are their desires? What are their pain points? What are their roadblocks? What are their false beliefs? What is it that they want in the short term? What is it they want in the long term? And then how is whatever you're doing right now, what's the absolute best way you can right now, where you are with what you have, that you can serve them? And then the better that was another word that I wrote down here, was relationship. So it was evolution, value, and relationships. you've got to create relationships with people. So like and you don't need to have like a million relationships. You just need to have relationships with people who are representative of the type of people that you want to have in your audience. So we see like Carlin or Pete, or Kevin or April, or all the people who are VJ, the people who show up on these things. You know, some people, Carlin, I remember first time I met Carlin was at a video training that Mike Stewart and I did years ago. I mean, like years ago, dude, like almost at the turn of the century. And, you know, you develop those relationships as you go along. They become characters in the story of your life and business. And it's very valuable because it teaches you how to serve those people. And in the process, you're serving them. You can serve a lot more other people too. I'm not sure I'm saying this right, but like by having a relationship with Carlin, you know, where I see him in the airport, I was like, dude, you know, my ultimate relationship with customers is you come on the gym boat. That's when we're all like hugging and hanging out and talking smack in waiting in lines to get on and off the ship. I mean, that's like you become my buddy then. And then when I design products, I think of Carlin, I think of C. Ray, I think of these people and design the stuff for them. And by having those relationships and knowing those people and being able to communicate with those people, like Gordon, you know, Gordon Watt, I've never met him in person, but he's my friend. I consider him a friend. You know, you have people that you can ask, hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of this idea? What do you think of this thing over here? And by doing that, that's how you build a business, not with a business plan. I mean, right. I know a lot of people who have MBAs who are complete dorks. I mean, they couldn't do anything in the business, you know, great. That business, it's what do they say that any plan doesn't survive first contact with the enemy. What do they say?
Yeah. Everybody has a plan till you get punched in the face, or
right.
I mean, for the boxer, but then the
right.
Yeah.
So my point is that if you're focused on serving the customer, each failure is never a failure. It's just feedback that, hey, I guess they didn't want this. So let's move on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing until you figure it out. Man, it still happens to me all the time, man. It's not like I live some magical life where everything I touch turns to gold and all my ads work and all my videos are a hit and everybody comes and watches my Facebook lives. That is not how life works, man. We still have issues. But if you're focused on serving the people, yeah,
got to work through them. Hey, CH had an interesting comment. And this is something that you found on podcasting. He says, it's interesting how you're streaming on YouTube Live, LinkedIn, and your webpage all at the same time. Don't forget Facebook. He's on Facebook too.
Uh-huh.
And he loves your wizards and scripts. I think they're awesome. But Jim found the easy button to do all that by finding StreamYard. Originally, we had started off podcasting the first, 75, 80 or so on Zoom.
Yeah.
And Jim found StreamYard, and that's what we're using right now as the main platform, which lets you stream live for multiple social media pages.
And was a lot less expensive than Zoom.
Yeah.
So
that was a perfect example of things that didn't exist when we started this journey.
Right.
That existed that allowed us to say, oh, here's how we're going to do a podcast. This is how we need to do it. You know?
Well, and also stuff comes and goes. And so if your whole business is built around one thing and then that thing breaks or disappears or changes, great example. Back in the day, there was this there was a site called goto.com. And GoTo was really the only place you could buy pay per click ads. And the GoTo I think it was GoTo. GoTo.com had a keyword tool that you could go and put in your keyword, and it would tell you a whole bunch of different related keyword searches and then relative popularity. Everybody and their brother referenced that tool. Everybody in everybody's course, everybody's everything. They told them, go to the GoTo search tool and do this to figure out the relative popularity. Then one day it disappeared. And for like 2 years, there was no tool. And so we found a bunch of workarounds for it and ways to triangulate. But a lot of people, their whole business or products at least died because that one tool was missing and everything they were teaching was gone. And so you got to be able to evolve. You got to be able to change with the times, or ultimately you're going to die. It's like the software. If you were to go back and look at the Wizard engine that we had 6 years ago, as opposed to what it can do now, it's not even night and day. It's like literally next century type stuff. And always looking for ways to improve, evolve, and to make stuff better, because otherwise if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
So what are you doing to grow your business, Stu? Let's take this back to the original thought. How do you feel about your business now as opposed to the vision that you had laid out for it? Are you happier than if that vision had come true perfectly? Would you be as happy as you are now with the way your business is?
No, I'm much happier now, because originally it was a lot of work, because it was more published books and speaking and conferences, and it was a lot of that stuff. I didn't really think about the online option, and then I did, and I was thinking, I'm selling these books pretty good online. I wonder, and then I started online training and online coaching, and then that gave me a huge laundry list and database of people I was training, what they were training for specifically. And then I just wrote generic programs for all those specific, journeys that everybody had, and just diversified pretty much in a year, pumping out ebooks that answered those questions, that answered those people's problems they were having. And that overnight just completely turned my whole business model upside down. I remember running upstairs, tell my wife, "Hey, I just sold my first ebook," and that was exciting. I didn't do anything.
Was she excited? Was she excited too, or was it kind of okay, cool? Can you get this trash out of here for me?
No, she was, she's like, "Okay, let's see where this goes."
Sounds like my wife.
Long for the ride.
Yeah. Okay, cool. We'll see what happens. But you think about that choice that you made. Look at all of your compatriots, all of your peers. What were the paths that a lot of those dudes took? They either went into corporate America, or they were on this endless cycle of deployments still overseas, and waiting on that next contract, hoping that they were going to be safe, and just always away from home, living for that next thing, being in danger, being bored out of their skull, sleeping in strange places, eating weird food, doing all these things, as opposed to you got to do what you love, which is working out and writing about it and working with young people and helping prepare them for this arduous journey. I mean, look at just those few decisions that you made of how you were going to do it, and then the stuff that you were going to try, and the willingness to evolve. Look how it shaped your life completely differently than the path that you could have most likely ended up going down when having kids. And you told me you did some stuff for the Olympics and were getting into security work and other stuff like that. Do you see where the path diverged?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it was just a couple of little things that I just had some side gigs that I had fun doing, it was writing articles, and and then had the idea of putting up an ebook store. And next thing I know, I didn't need security business anymore for income. So
Right.
yeah, it was the side hustle that turned into the full-time hustle.
Yeah. And I think that's a great thing to kind of end the discussion on, is that you were passionate about it and it was fun and you enjoyed it. And when you combined it with the stuff that we talked about, it helped you over the rough spots. Because if you're just doing this for the money, especially when you're getting started, you're either going to take shortcuts or you're going to do stuff that will mean you won't have the longevity. There's got to be the passion. There's got to be the mission. If there's no mission, there's no staying power. And if you do stay, you're going to be grumpy. You're just going to be one of those people who's just looking at the numbers. I mean, the numbers are important, but what juices me are the stories of people telling me, that they finally did it, or they did this, they tried this thing 5 times and then they came across my thing and that was the thing that made the difference. And that's the kind of stuff that really makes me excited and keeps me going. You can't just do this for the money. There's just too many moving parts. It's got to be a part of a bigger mission.
Yeah. You know what? I'll end it with this one too, is that, Father's Day was kind of a fun day, with my kids, and I don't have any grandkids yet, so waiting for that. We'll see when that happens. But I got a couple of texts and emails from guys that, say, I don't really know you. I don't even know if you have kids, but you've been kind of like my sea daddy, in the Navy ever, I'd always bounce questions off of you and stuff like that. And I was like, oh man, that's very nice. So that was, I agree with you. It's not about the dollar signs at the bottom of the piece of paper. It's, it's about those relationships you make.
Right. And if you do it right, the money will come.
Yeah.
That Adventago says, once I release that, if I provide genuine value, that the money will come sooner. I felt better. I think I knew what you meant. But the bottom line is that the money, if you're serving the folks, the money will come. There's too much. That's for a different discussion about pricing and feeling worthy and all that. We've talked about that before. But if you're doing it right, the money will come. It has to. It can't not, if you're doing what we teach you to do. So cool. Well, that was fun. It was an unexpected little conversation, but I enjoyed it.
Hey, Kevin found out what .io means. Did you see that?
What does it mean?
British Indian Ocean Territory.
What?
So you now have a company in the Maldives.
Oh my God. So the government's going to come after me now because I have a domain that's .io. And they're like, Mr. Edwards, tell us about these offshore bank accounts you have. I don't have any.
Okay.
So, okay. Well, we've got like 3 minutes left. So I don't really have anything left. So I think we'll just give everybody 3 minutes, a gift of 3 minutes.
Gift of 3 minutes. They don't have to listen to us unless they have a question.
Thank you, Justin. Justin says your funnel scripts was a game changer for my business, Jim. P.S. The beard game is strong. Thanks, Justin. I appreciate that. I'm working. I'm not sure what I'm doing with this.
Jeff Herring had a good topic or comment. He says, I was going to be sitting in a chair and nodding my head as a therapist for the rest of my life until the internet showed up, and I traded my couch for a mouse. Signed,
Wow.
Recovering therapist.
Now, is that mouse comfortable to sit on? Just curious. Okay. Well, everybody have a wonderful day, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.